What's up, everybody? It's your man Mark Thompson from Official Cabinet Photography. What I want to do is I want to make a short video and the process that I do once I finish a shoot and I bring it home. All right, so the program that we'll be using today is Capture One. If y'all not up on Capture One, look it up. It's dope. This one is Capture One Pro version, I want to say 11. I use this for majority of my studio shoots because I like to tether my shots. Another program I use Photoshop and I use Lightroom. And I know the question might come up. It's like, if you use Capture One, why do you use Lightroom? To me, I think that Lightroom has a couple little things that Capture One does not have, and vice versa. So that's why I use those two together. Um, so before we get into this, it was a question in one of the Facebook photography groups that I'm in, and it was like, do you shoot JPEG or do you shoot RAW, and why? For me, I shoot just about everything in RAW. Very seldomly do I shoot in JPEG. I shoot in RAW because it gives you more flexibility and you have a lot more options in your post work. Can you edit in JPEG? Absolutely. But you just don't have the flexibility that you do when you edit in RAW. It's like it just opens up. You have a lot more to work with once it's in RAW. So take this picture for example. This was like the third shot within the shoot, and for some reason the strobe did not go off. It happens from time to time. So in this, like I said, I shot this one in RAW. You can absolutely bring this photo back. And the first thing I would do, I look at it, identify the problem, the exposure is down. As you see, I up the exposure. Next, I would probably bring up the shadows just a little bit. And I'm doing this really quick, but I would make some little adjustments here and there using the masking tool to bring up certain areas. But yeah, I brought it back just like that. Of course, the skin doesn't pop like I wanted it to because the strobe didn't go off. But if you look at it, it looks pretty good. You can do this same thing for overexposed images. So take this one. We were moving into more close-up shots, more headshots, okay? So first shot goes off, it's overexposed, it's too hot. Same thing, I would just go, lower the exposure just a little bit. It brings the detail back in the skin, and I would lower the brightness by just a little bit as well. And there you have it. Second shot, it's way too hot too. So once again, go down, brings that detail back in the skin, and there you have it. Third shot, went off nice, perfect. And then I worked my way into it. And this was it. I finally got the adjustments within the camera and it came out looking like this, and I was happy with what I saw. But you don't want to get into the habit of saying, oh, well, you know what, I could just fix it in post and just keep shooting. You want to get it as close to perfect as you can inside of the camera. So once you get back home and you look at it, you just got to make minor adjustments. And plus, it's always a plus when you're there at the shoot and you can show the model, what's behind the camera. And if you show her something that's overexposed or underexposed, they're gonna be like, okay. But if you can show them something that's nice and crisp right out the camera, oh man, it gets everybody hype. All right, but keep in mind, if a picture is too overexposed or too underexposed, you may not be able to bring it back. So if something is completely black, you may bring somewhat of the picture back, but it's not going to be good. Or if it's overexposed, and you may be able to bring certain elements back, but then other elements are going to look really hot. So try to get it right in camera first. All right, so let's move on to what I do. So as soon as I get home with the different pictures, I go to my computer and I immediately download everything to it. I download it to my computer and I download it to a hard drive. All right, if I leave that chip inside of my camera, it's a possibility, and it's happened to me on two occasions, that I make a mistake and forget it's on there and I overwrite it. Now, it's a ways that you can get that back. It's a program that I got, and you can get that back. But why go through all that trouble when you can just fix it the first time? All right. So I got all my photos inside inside my computer. On this particular shoot, I shot this last Sunday. Shout out to Jeanne. Uh, she put together 3 beautiful models, man, and we just went out there and we crushed it. And if I'm shooting with 3 different models, really I like to shoot with like actually 2, because it gives me more time to work with each and every one, and I spend more time on them. Can I work with more than one? Absolutely, but I would just like to work with 2. But on this one, it was 3. And so I get it home and I create different folders for them, because if I keep them all in one folder, it's going to be very overwhelming when it comes to the selection process. So for this first model in particular, I color coded her in green. So I create a folder. If you see the little green right here, every one of her is in green. It's another model. I can't speak to that. Color coded her everything in orange. So everything with this model is in orange. So it's no other model there to sidetrack me, because I get sidetracked quick as hell. It's another one. I color coded her red. Okay, so now I got them broke down in different sections. Comes the next part, which I go in and I start to make my selection of which ones that from the best of the best. And this is how I do it. Oops. Okay, so the first thing I do is I make a selection. I look through each and every picture. The first thing that I'm looking for straight off the bat is everything in focus. Is everything in focus? Because if something is not in focus, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. So this one right here, if you look at her face, it's a little bit out of focus. Now, if it's a good pose and I really, really like it, I try to bring it back with maybe a little bit of sharpness or clarity. If I can't bring it back that way, then I just move on to the next picture. But yeah, I'm going through each and every one of these photos to make sure they are sharp. And here, these came out really well. You can see the detail in her eyes. You can see her skin. Everything looks good. So I just keep going from picture to picture, and I'm making selections of which ones I like. Now, the way that I select each picture is I go in, I give it a rating. So let's just say I like this one. I'll give it a 5-star rating. And then I move on to the next one and I rate them such. But like I said, I am looking at each and every one. Now with this particular model, man, she fucking killed it. So for me, that makes my job harder, because each image that we shot came out so damn hot. You know what I'm saying? I really want to work with her again, because she really knows how to emote. She has the look. I mean, she actually became this character. The theme was Purge, and so she was like, I would say, a Harley Quinn type of a character. And man, she brought this thing to life. And that's always good. When a model shows up, she's motivated, she's ready to go. That gives me energy. In turn, I give it back to her, and we just make magic. So yeah, definitely, I would definitely want to work with her again on another project. But yeah, I go through each and every one of these, and it's a long process on that part, especially when you have a really good model like this. Next, I create a folder, and it's called, I named this Green 5, and it's all the ones with all my 5-star ratings. And once again, I start the process all over again, and I get really, really nitpicky. I mean, I look at everything. I look at the emotion. I look at the eyes. It's like everything. So, because from the first selection, I just made sure everything was sharp and good, and then I went off, what I the composition, make sure everything was good. But in this one, I'm being so nitpicky, it's crazy because you got to get the best of the best when it comes there. I'm zooming in, I'm looking at the emotion of everything. Like in this particular one, all these shots are hot, but in my personal opinion, I think this one, the one where she has the fingernail in her mouth, is probably the dopest one. I like the way she got the bat. I like everything. This one right here is cool. Zoomed in too much. This one is straight, but this one right here is the one. I think it fits the theme more, and it just looks good. So I'll give it that rating on that. And so once I got everything broken down, all the ones I get 5-star ratings, I save all of those in that folder for my client to review and pick out which ones that they like. Next, we're gonna move on to our second model, Miss Gemini. Man, it was awesome working with her as well. I think, if I'm correct, I think she's been modeling for a year or maybe a little under a year, but she did extremely well. She knows how to take direction really good, and I can definitely work with that. A model that can take direction. A lot of times, my homeboys come to me, they be like, "Yo, Mark, I got this girl, man. She want to model. She fine as hell, dog." And the first question I ask them, "Can they model?" And they be like, "Who cares?" And I'm just like, it makes a difference because they can take selfies all day on Instagram or Facebook, but if you get them in front of that camera and they don't know what to do, they'll be looking like a deer in the headlights. So modeling is, I mean, it's not easy, man. I mean, some people it's easy, some people it takes a little work. But my whole thing is that if you could take some direction here and there, hell, we get it cracking. Like this particular one right here, I really like the look in her face right there. That's so dope. It's one on here particularly that I really like, and it's this one right here where she's holding the bat. I think that's dope. I really like this one. I like the look on her face. I like how she's holding the bat. You see the Louisville Slugger. It just came out hot to me. Um, but yeah, if they can take direction, I'm with it. My whole thing is like I like to have fun in my shoots. I like to joke and I like to laugh. I get the models joking and laughing or whatever, but we stay professional. Get the music going. I've learned in my experience, if you cut the music on, it gets them a little bit hype. You know what I'm saying? They feel a little bit at ease, and it's all about getting the model to her comfort zone where she can give it to you. And that's just how I do it. So she did extremely well. We'll go to our last model of the day, Brooklyn. She's originally from Brooklyn, so I guess Brooklyn's in the house. Um, with her, I really like working with her for a couple different reasons. The first reason that she was really confident. You know what I'm saying? She was very confident, and she was comfortable in her skin. I think we had a conversation that she was saying like a lot of photographers don't like to shoot plus size models. To me, it does not make a difference. The main thing that matters to me is if you can pose. If you cannot pose, I don't care if you're small, I don't care if you're big, whatever, it's going to translate in the picture. If you're nervous, you're going to see it in your body movements. And but for her, she knew how to really, I like this picture right here. She knew how to really work her angles. So that was awesome. If they know how to work their angles, I mean, hey, we can shoot all day. So very confident. I like this picture right here. I like how the bat is hanging off of her shoulders. It's dope. This one I really liked. And this is just something a little different. I want to kind of focus more in on the bat, kind of blur out the background a little bit, a little depth. I really like this one too. So like I said, man, she really knew how to work her angles, which was a really big deal. It's a really big deal, and it translated very well. The makeup on this one, I think she was supposed to be a battered woman, and I guess she just had enough of that bullshit, And she grabbed the Louisville Slugger, and now she going to town because you see the blood hanging off of it. But the makeup on that one was pretty good. Like that looked like a no shit. Like somebody had like cold cocked her ass in the eye. I like this one too. So she did really really well. So now like this one, no exception. I go through all of them. I pick out the best of the best. Once I'm done picking out the best of the best, I take everything and I save it onto my site so I can present it to my client. So, where is it at? It is this one. So I take all the ones that I gave the 5-star rating for my client to go through and pick which ones they like. And I try to make it as hard as hell for my whoever's going through it. I want to give them a whole bunch of different looks. You know, I want them when they walk away from shooting. I want them to be like, wow, it was like so much in there, and I had a lot to pick from. I rather you have a lot to pick from than just have a couple of corny shots here and there that you just picking because it's nothing that you really like. When you go in there, I want to make it hard. I want to make every image that I put in there that I selected dope. But yeah, I give them this, and basically what they do is they go in there and they can pick the ones they like, and I basically just give them they just put their email address in, and then I give them a password. I text it to them or whatever, but they get the password, and it will bring them to this. So this is what the client sees right here. As you can see, it's a star right above it. If they like it, then they hit the star. In turn, I go in and I can see exactly which ones they pick. So if they want to see, like, they say, hey, I like this one, but I want to see it a little bit close. Bam, it comes up just like this. And then they can go through it. But keep in mind, I do tell them that these like are not full resolution. These are little small JPEGs that I put onto the site. Another thing I tell them, I'll be like, please don't screenshot this because there's nothing more than I hate than somebody that go through and they'll screenshot the before pictures and then they'll put them on the site, and nah, I don't like that because people look at it and be like, damn, like what's up with that? That dude didn't touch it up. What's going on? You know, that's a representation of me and my work. So I tell them, yo, don't screenshot it. Just go through, pick out the ones you like, and then I start working on it. And so that's what they do. Once they go through and they pick out the ones that they really like, I do a confirmation. So I just take the pictures that they selected, put it on a site that's similar to this, and I'd be like, hey, is this what you pick? In turn, they get back to me, yes, and then I start editing. I start the edit process. Um, Let me see one that I did. Yeah, I start the edit process. And the editing process, it depends, on the model and the makeup artist. If the makeup artist is on point and the model has really nice and smooth skin, I can knock them out and no problem. But if the model, the makeup isn't as good, or if the model, some skin issues, and it's nothing wrong with that because I can absolutely fix that. It's just gonna take just a little bit more time. Um, but normally I can crank these things out pretty quick. I've been doing it for a while, so it's a certain flow that I do, and I'll probably make another video on that. But for this particular one, you see it, and let me see if, and this is the final image right here, and this one came out really good. Everything. So yeah, that's pretty much my process. Shoot, y'all can follow me on. I'm on Instagram under Official Cabinet, so check me out. This is also my website that I have up and running. I know I got a corny extension. I gotta go ahead and just pay a little extra bread to so I can take that format out. But I do my website through format. But you can reach me at ocphotography.com. short.format.com. I like to update it. I need to update it more than I should, but I try to at least put a picture of the month in there. I'm real bad about social media. I need to get a little more savvy in that. But go ahead and check me out, man. Uh, it's You can get in contact with me on there. I got a contact sheet, and this is like some of my work. So if we get together and we do a project, you know exactly kind of what to expect. You see, I got a certain flow and a certain style, and yeah, get up with me. Um, and I hope to hear from y'all soon. And I mean, like I shoot everything. I shoot guys too. That's the number one thing I hear. Oh, you shoot a lot of ladies. I love shooting women, and but I do shoot guys. So I do shoot dudes. I mean, it's all about creating that art. So hit me up, and definitely we can make something happen. All right, it's your boy Mark Thompson from Official Cabinet Photography, and I'm out.